Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Well, again, as I said, an interesting event here, ladies and gentlemen. An hour ago, we would not have had this show, but it's working out that we are able to bring the show to you, ladies and gentlemen. Checking to see if my live stream is working. It does appear. Okay. All right. To you, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the double feed there, ladies and
Checking to
gentlemen. I just
see if
wanted to
my
double
live
check if
stream is
everything was working.
working. It does appear.
Second.
Okay.
All right. All right. Very, very good. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize about that. Again, as I said, my producer did tell me that he was going to be taking the week off. He had other events, and so he was scheduled off. But of course, again, I had everything set up, ladies and gentlemen. I had my screen set up, I had everything prepped and ready to go. And now it looks like I just have green screen. Nothing is in the background. So, this is why I always love having my producer, just in case things go wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Well, real quick before we get started with the show, I want to do a quick introduction. I was on 8 straight days, ladies and gentlemen, of no vertigo attack. I mean, I thought I was better. I thought everything was doing good. And today, around 4 o'clock, bam, I got hit and I got hit hard. And it reminded me that it's still around. It said, "Hello, how are you? Haven't been around. How you been feeling without me? You miss me?" And no, I haven't missed it, but want to be polite. So again, as I said, it had a reminder, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The show was at 5 o'clock. We wouldn't have had the show. But since the show is at 6 o'clock, I have just enough strength. I've just recovered enough so that the show must go on, ladies and gentlemen. And life, real estate, is a live streaming event, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what's going to happen. So we are here by the blessings, and I have enough strength to get the show started. And even though we have some technical difficulties, it looks like my background's not working. It looks like my overlay is not working. It doesn't change anything. Still goes on. The day might not work out the way you planned, but it did go. You went and lived through the 24 hours. And so you either learn from the events or you understand that life just simply does not work out the way you planned. And I'm sure you've been disappointed many times, but you still have the memories of the event, even though it might not have worked out the way you had planned. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what life's going to throw at you. So, hello, everyone. I'm Warren Nelson, owner and director of Online Real Estate School and the owner and star of my own podcast called Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle. And if you are a student of my class, you will also be a guest speaker of my podcast, Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle. And I'm a proud sponsor of this free live streaming real estate class, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm able to bring to you every Monday since this show started. I haven't missed a show. And I thought today would have been the first one, but I didn't. I haven't missed the show. We did have a couple holidays. When the show falls on a Monday, ladies and gentlemen, as it does, and there's a holiday on the Monday, then we won't have the show. So that's the only time that we have not had this free live streaming show, that I've gone through all this effort to bring to everybody every Monday to introduce to you the world of real estate and how it will change your lifestyle. So, this is the quickest hour in real estate, and I want to welcome everyone to tonight's show. We have a very inspirational show for everyone tonight, especially if you're thinking about investing in real estate, because there's going to be all kinds of investment gurus coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Every time you turn the page, it is going to start. It's starting a little bit sooner than I thought, but I'm already noticing that the real estate gurus are coming out of the woodwork, ladies and gentlemen, and they're all going to be teaching you how to buy property at a depressed price, how to wholesale, retail, flip properties, how to make $5,000 on a property and never take ownership of the property, blah, blah, blah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a lot that you're going to need to understand. First of all, There's no such thing as a no money down deal. Nope, doesn't exist. Why? Because in Pennsylvania, you don't have a legal contract without certain ingredients. One of those ingredients is consideration. So if you don't have consideration, something of value, a no money down deal is illegal in Pennsylvania because there's nothing of value in that negotiations. So that contract is no good. And one of the first things that you're going to need to learn when you invest in property is law, federal law, state law, local law, what you can and cannot do. And also, what you want to understand is when you buy investment property, what are you buying? So, most of these seminars that you're going to go to are going to teach you templates or how to negotiate or how to structure a deal. But is it legal? That will be always the question, ladies and gentlemen, especially when this seminar wants you to use their contracts. Well, we had our attorneys draw up these contracts and we know how to use them. We've used them many times in the past. Yes, but you're leaving out a whole lot of details, like what state did you use them in the past? Are they state specific contracts? Because in Pennsylvania, the contract has to comply with Pennsylvania law. The buyers and the sellers are both supposed to have an equal set of rights in that contract afforded to them. And if it's not afforded to them, then the contract might be valid and your whole deal might be bad. So we're going to talk about it. Another thing that you don't understand when you do investment properties is the deed. It's one of the first things I teach in my class, the deed, the deed, the deed. So John, your next door neighbor, wants to sell the property that he owns. And you know, John, you know, he's been there for a while. He's probably lived there 10 years. You know, no. And then John wants to sell the property to you at a pretty good discount. Properties are going for, let's just say, 100,000, and he wants to get 75 for it. Well, you know, 25,000 in equity. Equity. All investors need to know equity, the difference between what the property's worth and what you owe or paid for it. Equity. All right. So the difference, I paid 100,000 for the property, but it's worth 200. If I go to sell it today, I'm sitting on 100,000 in equity. So in John's situation, you're buying John's property. You know the property's worth 100,000, and he's only asking 75 for it. That's great. You're doing the numbers, but the very first thing that you need to do is get your hands on the deed. And it turns out that John Smith, your neighbor that you knew for 10 years, lived in that property, but it was actually dad, John Smith Sr., that actually got the property for him because John Smith could not get the property 10 years ago in his name. So the deed is actually in dad's name, John Smith Sr. So when John Smith, your neighbor, goes to sell the property, he isn't the owner of the property, even though he's your neighbor and he's lived there for 10 years. He's not the owner on the deed. The deed, the deed, the deed. And if you give this seller $75,000, you're out 75,000 because you gave the 75,000 to somebody who doesn't actually own the property, had no right to legally sell the property. So you got to be careful with illusions, ladies and gentlemen. Just because you knew him, just because you knew he was your neighbor, did not tell you that you knew all his financial affairs and if the name was on the deed or not. All right. So it doesn't matter if it's male, female, or corporation, because you're going to learn in my school, and a corporation is an artificial person. And let's just say that I'm Warren Nelson, that's my name, but Warren Nelson LLC, that is a separate individual altogether. Warren Nelson and Warren Nelson LLC are two separate individuals. And you'll learn this in the real estate business that Warren Nelson is not who you're working for. Warren Nelson LLC is actually the artificial entity, the artificial person recognized in Pennsylvania as a legal person. And Warren Nelson LLC can own property in the deed because partnership law in Pennsylvania. Partnerships are recognized as legal entities in Pennsylvania, and corporations and LLCs have always been recognized in Pennsylvania as an artificial person. So when you buy property, you might want to buy it under your LLC or your S corporation or C corporation. We'll talk about that in the class. And maybe you don't. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about your financial affairs, ladies and gentlemen. If we're going to start investing in property, one of the first things that we want to do is understand what we're investing in. So I always encourage you that if you're going to start investing in property, then invest in yourself first. Invest in yourself first. Get the knowledge that you need before you start investing in property. You don't want on the job training, ladies and gentlemen. In this business of real estate investing, on the job training can be very, very expensive and put you out of it forever. All right. So you don't want these bad experiences. I told you these real estate seminars are going to be coming out. Buy foreclosed property, buy short sale properties. They're coming back. You're going to see a wave. History repeats itself. So I already know it's happening. It's just happening sooner than I expected. So you guys are going to be getting hit up with all kinds of promises. They're going to take advantage of your dreams. They always do. This is their game. And sometimes I feel foolish for not participating in the game because there's so much money in it. So many people are willing to throw their money away that I almost feel like you're a sucker for not taking the money, but people want to throw it away. Why do you want to still continue to try to educate everybody and make them understand what they can do and shouldn't do? Sometimes I do feel like the fool, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a fool's gamble out there. And there are so many fools out there throwing away money that you feel almost stupid for not taking it. If you could take candy from a baby, will you? I don't know. Depends on you. Depends on the person that you want to be. You got to live with your conscience, ladies and gentlemen. But I can tell you right now, if you're getting some of these good deals that these seminars are talking about, I tell you what they're not talking about. They're not talking about you having to put those people out of the property, putting them on the streets, taking them and kicking them out of the property. You end up with a good deal, that's great. Let's just say you ended up with an auction property. You bid at auction and you won the auction. Now you got the property. And those people, the family's still living in the property. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Now comes that part of the investment that the seminars never taught you. All they teach you is the benefit, what's good, what you're going to do. Everything's beautiful. And we all lived happily ever after. So the seminar says that reality sets in. And reality is different, and nothing ever works out the way you plan. So you better understand, ladies and gentlemen, that if you want to set your itinerary, you better understand hour for hour what's available to do each hour. Otherwise, you can't set your itinerary. You have no idea what you're going to be doing because you don't know what you can be doing, let alone what you can do. So, what we're going to talk about is you're going to invest in real estate. The first thing you need to do is invest in yourself. This class, ladies and gentlemen, is a class set up by the state of Pennsylvania that complies with federal law, state law, and local law so that you understand what you have to do when you buy and sell real estate, especially when you're doing it for others. You're representing others, the buyer, the seller, the broker. We'll talk about the correct answer in the class. So you have to understand the very first thing is the deed. And once you understand the proper procedure of climbing a ladder, you have to get the first rung, then the second rung, then the third rung. But if you try to jump to the third rung, chances are you might slip. And you know what? It's going to hurt when you miss that third rung because you tried to get ahead. There is no quick get rich quick schemes, ladies and gentlemen. There is none. Let me repeat that. There is no get rich quick scheme. That's called a scheme. That's why you have to work to succeed. The secret in life, the success in life is you have to work to succeed. And if you're not used to putting in a full day yet, wait till you put in a full day and see how great you feel after that day, knowing what you were able to accomplish in an 8 or 16 hour day, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to be an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. You got that blood running through your veins already, which is why you're here, which is why you're making the effort to get to know me to see if it's the wise choice to join this class and get the education you need to proceed in life. So you're taking a calculated risk, but you are also taking a wise investment risk by doing some due diligence and learning about me. Also, ladies and gentlemen, anytime that you're looking to go with any of these schools that teach may I suggest the first thing you do is check them out with the Bureau of Professional Occupational Affairs. The Bureau of Professional Occupational Affairs. Same thing with me, ladies and gentlemen. Online Real Estate School Incorporated. I'm registered with the state, and that's what you want. You only want to go to a school that's registered with the state and see if there's any complaints. So you can easily look at reviews. Look at my reviews. My reviews sell themselves. And then look at all my competitors, all the other schools out there, and look at their reviews. Also, notice, ladies and gentlemen, ah, man, I really despise slim shadiness. I understand business. I do. I understand business, but I don't like slim shady with that business, So you got to be careful when we're supposed to be teaching real estate practice and fundamentals. Now, everybody has their business model. Some schools will break up the practice and the fundamentals into two different classes and have instructors teaching. One instructor will teach real estate practice, another instructor will teach real estate fundamentals, and they will charge because they have two instructors that they have to pay for, and they're going to charge separate as if each instruction, real estate practice and real estate fundamentals, were two separate classes when really they're one. So I understand the business model. You have two different instructors that you have to pay for. I don't have that problem right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am the director and the instructor. So I have no overhead expenses other than rent, and I have no instructors, which means my employees would be giving me an 8 hour day and teaching you what they feel like teaching you in that 8 hours. But because I am the director of the school and the instructor, I have a vested interest to make sure that you achieve and become the best real estate agent or the best real estate representative, whether you're investing or representing, that you could possibly be. So I put a lot of heart and stock into it, which is why I do this live show, which is why I do the podcast, which is why I teach my students how to run a business and take them into the business world in the classroom and give them all their templates and teach them how to run a business. Most schools, ladies and gentlemen, as you'll understand if you did any of your research, most schools, you're going to pay for the class. You're going to have a test at the end. If you fail the exam, they'll charge you for one makeup exam. And then that's it. That's it. No goodbyes, no farewells, no nothing. You get your transcripts if you pass. If you don't pass, that's it. You're welcome to pay for the class all over again. So you see in my school, ladies and gentlemen, from the reviews, things are a lot different in my school. Again, as I said, read the reviews. Don't worry about, ladies and gentlemen. I teach you in my class that you can't fail because you have to understand what failure is. Failure means never getting a second chance. I didn't get a chance to say I love you before you left this earth. And I'm not going to get a second chance. That's a failure. But you can't fail the state exam, ladies and gentlemen. You can take the exam again and again and again and again if you like. If you like, one of the best students that I've had, what I should say is best real estate agent, that I had, and failed the exam 9 times. Failed the exam 9 times. Now it's $49 to take the state exam. There was no quit in this man's game. No quit. And he took that exam 9 times. And on the 10th time, he passed. Boom. And now, first commission check made everything all better, ladies and gentlemen. Understand, it's $49 to take the state exam. So that means he invested $490 to take the exam 10 times. Why did it take him 10 times? Well, again, as I said, everybody tests differently. And this is why I put my curriculum together to understand that everybody is different. Some like flashcards, some like a memory repeat, some like to say things out loud, some like to read it. So everybody's got a different way of learning. And so I've learned how to incorporate mostly all of those techniques into the class so that everybody successfully passes the exam. I got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. Because the classes are working so well right now. The homework assignments are working so well that the classic scores that I'm getting are so high. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that I'm sure I'm going to get audit, but that's okay because I can prove to them that my students actually got these great grades. They actually passed the exam with these high scores, and I can show them the improvements. So I'm not worried about the audit, and I'm very proud that my students are passing the exam. They're passing the exam with almost like no questions wrong. Out of 55 questions, they're getting 54 right. I had a couple ace it 55. All right. Now I'm starting to think maybe I'm doing something wrong. How are they getting such high scores? But that's what we're doing now, ladies and gentlemen, because of the homework assignment, because of the curriculum, because of the syllabus, because of everything that we put together in the last 3 years for this real estate class. It is designed to make you the best. It is designed to give you every option you have available to you to pass the exam and go on to be a licensed real estate professional and change your lifestyle. So I'm very proud, ladies and gentlemen, of what we've accomplished. Please read my reviews. Once again, always, anytime you got a lot of real estate seminars coming up that you're going to be thinking about investing in, may I suggest that you check them out with the Bureau of Professional Occupational Affairs. And if they're not listed, they're not licensed, then I would be weary. A lot of things like to call themselves schooling. Uh, let's see, car schooling, financial schooling, stuff like that. You be careful when you hear the word schooling, ladies and gentlemen, because all you're going to do is get schooled out of your money. They can't call themselves a school, not legally, not legally, because they're not licensed. So they have to call themselves another name, an institution of education, a schooling of this, or the art of a higher understanding of this industry. So they got to be real creative with the name of their school, but they won't be able to call themselves a school. You won't see the word school anywhere there if they're not a licensed facility, which we are, ladies and gentlemen. Online Real Estate School Incorporated. We'll talk about S corporation, C corporation, why you want to incorporate, why you want to LLC. I told you in my class, I'm going to teach you business. We're going to talk about trust and probate. We'll never want to leave property in a will when we can absolutely set it up in a trust. The trust will avoid the probate. So these are the things that we're going to talk about in my class. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of investments. So I taught you already, the first thing you want to do is invest in yourself. The second thing that I'm going to teach you in my class, your very first investment should be a duplex. I talk about this all the time. And I love when I see my students actually do this. I'm very proud of that. This means the second reason that you're investing in property is to live rent free, stress free. Again, notice that we're not going after money. Everybody makes the mistake of starting a business, starting investment to go after money. You're making a mistake, and the money won't be there because you don't understand the program. This is what we talk about all the time, ladies and gentlemen. You don't even know why you're investing. You know what you would like to do. You got those dreams, and be careful sharing those dreams because those dreams will be taken advantage of. Oh, did I do something wrong? Okay, very good. No, that was something easy fix. Okay, so your dreams, they get to know your dreams and they know what you want. They're going to take advantage of you. They're going to use that against you, ladies and gentlemen. This is how politics works too. They like to make promises and keep making promises to you and make you think that one day those promises will come true and we'll all live happily ever after. But they always know they can sucker you in on your dreams and take advantage of what you want in the future because they know that chances are you're going to take the road of least resistance. The road of least resistance is I don't put any effort into it. I just want the entitlement. I just want it to come to me. And if I can just promise you that it'll come to you, all you have to do is make this small little payment, and I'll give you everything you need for all those dreams to come true. It'll never happen, ladies and gentlemen. Sit, kiss your money goodbye. Kiss your money goodbye. The entitlement will never be there. None of those promises will be there. They knew. They knew that you were dreaming about that. They knew that that was something that you wanted to accomplish. And so you got to be really, really careful, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the next 2 years. We're going to have a wave of foreclosures. We're going to have a wave of unemployment. We're going to have a wave of depressed situations. And unfortunately, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. We have good days and good times and bad times. And this is what we're going to have to learn. I teach in my class the exit plan. Nobody ever starts investing with an exit plan. They always think that everything's going to go forever. You're going to live forever. You're never going to die. And then what happens when you die? Everything goes through probate. The government takes everything you worked your entire life for will be gone. And those that you thought were going to get most of it end up with getting very little of it because you did not understand the way that the game works, ladies and gentlemen. The way the game works, you got to understand there's lots of players in this game. You got to understand how the bank's game works. You got to understand how the title company's game works. You got to understand how the government's game works. You got to understand how the insurance company's game works. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't know all the pieces and all the players in the game, the title company, the mortgage company, the insurance companies, the appraisers, the surveyors, all these players are in the game. It's in the contract. And if you don't understand how to play the game, then you're going to be lost in the sauce, ladies and gentlemen. So the reason that you take my class, the reason that I have this free show every Monday is to teach you the very first thing. If you have these dreams, if you seriously want to accomplish this goal of being financially well off, accumulate real estate, change your lifestyle, then you're going to have to put in a little bit of effort, ladies and gentlemen. It is not an entitlement program. It won't happen by rubbing a lamp and getting 3 wishes. Out pops the genie. Well, by the way, if that ever did occur, what would be your first wish? Does anybody know what their first wish would be? See, again, keep these things in mind. So if you had 3 wishes, what would be your first wish? All right. For me, ladies and gentlemen, I always share my first wish because I've always been successful. But there's always one thing that I've always wanted and I never could do was language. There's a young man on YouTube. He speaks a lot of language, and I'm very envious of him. And he's very, very good. He picks up language very, very good. So if I had a wish, I would wish to know, speak, and understand all languages. That would be a great wealth for me. So everybody should understand if you had your first wish. I always like that one where he says, if I had one wish, I would wish that all my wishes would come true. Be careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to talk about these things in life that you want to accomplish. The first thing that you have to understand, it's not an entitlement program. You're going to have to put a little effort into it. This is a 75-hour state mandated class to make sure that you understand real estate, that you understand federal law, local law, state law, that you understand protected classes. We're going to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. For instance, let's just say that you just bought your first property. It's a duplex and you're going to rent it out and you're now screening tenants. Let me ask you this question. This person that's applying for the property is a known drug user, is a known drug habit, and is known to be using illegal drugs. No, you know it. So somehow or another, you have absolute evidence. Can you discriminate against an illegal drug user at this point? The answer is yes, you can. The illegal drug user is not a protected class. However, now check this out. However, if that illegal drug user is telling you now that they're in a rehab program, then guess what? Now they become a protected class and you cannot discriminate against them based on their drug habit. So you have to understand this is what we'll talk about in my class, what you can and cannot do. I could discriminate against this person. If I know this person's an illegal crackhead, cracking it up all the time, blah, 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 I'm not going to let them in my property. However, the law changes. If I know that this person's a crackhead, but today he's now in a recovery program or she's now in a recovery program, they become a protected class. And now if I rejected the apartment to them, I could be having a complaint against me for discrimination because I did not know what I could and could not do in the business. Just like HIV, AIDS, and Megan's Law, ladies and gentlemen, these are 2 subjects that you absolutely have to know about in the real estate business, or you'll end up in court if you did not know what you could and could not do with an individual that has AIDS or HIV, or an individual that might be on the Megan's FBI watch list. You got to know what we can and cannot couldn't do. We can't be too friendly in this business, ladies and gentlemen. No good deed goes unpunished in this business. And so I'm going to teach you. You got to know what you can and cannot do. Let me give you another scenario. You're renting out property and you have an elderly tenant that lives, let's just say that the other elderly tenant, you have a duplex and you have an elderly tenant that lives downstairs and the top floor is available. You're going to rent out the top floor. But the elderly tenant downstairs says that their days are numbered, their health issues not so good, and they would like their remaining days to be as quiet as they peacefully as they possibly can. So they ask if you do not rent the property upstairs to any children because the children's noise would make the situation worse. What do you do, ladies and gentlemen? What do you do? All right, now you're in the real estate business. You got a property and now you're doing tenants. You want to be the landlord. So you have one tenant downstairs, an elderly tenant that is on their last days by their own admission. And they want to make their last days as peaceful and quiet as they possibly can. And they ask you if you could not rent the upstairs apartment to children because the noise would make the dying tenants' problems more uncomfortable. What do you do? Do you honor the tenant's request and refuse to rent the children? Do you know if you're doing anything wrong or illegal at this point by honoring the request? I told you, no good deed goes unpunished in this business. You can't be too nice in this business, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to have to understand. You got a major dilemma there because the tenant's asking you not to rent the children. We're going to be talking about familiar status, which is a protected class. What is familiar status? It is a child under the age of 18 and a parent. Now, I say a parent because it could be a foster parent, an adopted parent, a natural parent. So the parent could run the gamut of adoption, foster, so forth. So familiar status is a child under the age of 18 and a parent. So let's say a mother and three children are trying to move into an apartment and they like that second floor apartment. It's a nice two-bedroom apartment, got nice square footage. It would be nice for the children, but you refuse to rent to them based on the fact that she has children, and the children would make the noise for the dying tenant more uncomfortable. Well, you're going to be sued. Well, you're not going to be sued up. You're going to get a complaint. You're going to have a complaint. I'm sorry. You're going to have a complaint filed against you for unfair practice, fair housing laws, because you refuse to rent to a mother and their children. What you did not know is that it's discrimination. And now you're breaking the law by discriminating against the mother or the parent, the father, with the three children. It could be any children. It could be one child. It could be five children. And so in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen, the parent and the children are discriminated against most of the time in the real estate business. They're the biggest class of discrimination. And we don't know this. So you have to understand that little scenario I just gave you could have put you into a legal problem and the whole investment, everything that you work for, could be kaput like that if you don't understand protected class. 55 and over, 62 and over is a protected class nationwide. But did you know here in Pennsylvania, 40 and over is a protected class? And you want to be an employer, you want to employ individuals, because I almost said machines, because I think that's what's going to be down to. We've said it for the last 20 years, but now you absolutely can see that machines are probably going to be taking over. There's I can't get into it, ladies and gentlemen, but understand it's going to get pretty ugly, pretty ugly in the next 2 to 3 years. Might not even be a world that you even knew or grew up in. So things are going to be changing, but it always comes down to one thing, ladies and gentlemen: cleansing, We've had wars, civil wars, revolutionary wars, world wars, and trust me, I would love to say that we're never going to see another war again. But power corrupts unconditionally, and I can tell you right now, some countries are just looking for the benefits of war, and so I think America is going to have two wars, a world war and a civil war, all in together. But I can tell you the powers to be are absolutely will do everything they can to change this country into a failed country. Things that they already know that failed in the past, yet for some reason they want to do it again. And the reason is because they benefit them and nobody else. To hell with everybody else. We'll just tell you that we're doing it for you. We'll share your dreams with you. We'll take advantage of those dreams and we'll tell you that everything that we're doing for ourselves is for you and the benefit of you. If you just let us do what we're doing and don't interfere with what we're doing, it'll all be better for you in the long run. Sucker. All right. This is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? Here's our real problem. The real problem that we have. We are a civilized society. And because of that, it's very easy to take advantage of us. When you're an uncivilized or an unlawful individual, when you care less about society and people. And that's what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. We're up against a faction that does not care about us, but they'll let us think that all they do is care about us. And what they're trying to do is eliminate everything for their well being. Now, again, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fool's bet. It's a fool's bet. It won't work anyway. It'll all come down. You end up with nothing but dust when it's all done and said. But effort in, effort out. And so you're going to see a lot of effort. So, again, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of the bad thing, the conspiracy things and everything that we talk about. However, these things present opportunity, lots of opportunity, and lots of real estate opportunity is coming down the pike. And I'm already seeing the investment gurus already knowing how much investment opportunity is going to be coming down the pike by the disastrous economy. Don't fret, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, it's not the end of the world. Yes, the prices are going to go up, interest rates going to go up. It's going to be hard to get money, but it doesn't last forever. Everything's got its 4 and 8 year life cycles. 4 and 8 year life cycles. We call it the 7 year itch in the business. Naturally, ladies and gentlemen, every 7 years, we want to do something different. It's just a biological clock. We're tired of our neighbors. We're tired of our coworkers. We're tired of our job. We're tired of our relationship. We're tired of our life. It's time to do something different. And that's where you are. You're probably at that 7 year itch, that 7 year journey where you want to do something different. And so now, real estate, something that you always wanted to do. You always thought you would be good at it. You're always good at helping other people with their problem. Most of the students in my school come from the medical world. They're in the medical world or the airline world. And you're seeing a lot of that lately going on as well, ladies and gentlemen. So you're seeing a lot of that lately. Oops, stop. Hold on. Mm. Okay. So now that people are being laid off or fired, doesn't matter. They're not allowed to collect unemployment. So all the money that they paid in to their unemployment, everything that they worked so hard for, is being taken away from them by government because government is forcing companies to be their little deputies to fire people against their legal rights, their constitutional rights, because of a vaccine or a pandemic that doesn't seem to be killing anybody. The flu still has much more worse outcomes than the COVID. Now, again, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, sure, people have died. At least we heard that on the news that people have died. We're still hearing that people have died from COVID. We don't know if it's true or not, but we're just, as I said, we're a civilized society, so we're not going to challenge it. We're not going to test it. We're going to believe. But that's the problem because we're a civilized society and because we're willing to go along but what's told us and honor government, they take advantage of us. And because they're able to take advantage of us, because they have us docile down and dumbed down. We don't want you too educated. Our kids will be the educated ones. Your kids will be the blue collar workers. We don't need the white collar workers. That'll be our kids. So you're by design dumbed down. But it's all starting to come to light now. I don't know why it took so damn long, to be honest with you. I don't know why it took so long, but now parents are starting to realize what's happening in the school system and what's happening in the political system. And it's all designed for them, not us. And your children are being dumbed down. And you know what got the school busted, ladies and gentlemen? Because I love sharing this story. It was the pandemic. And the pandemic forced the schools to go live streaming. And the live streaming showed the parents what the teachers didn't really know. They ain't going to be able to teach your kids anything, ladies and gentlemen. And so the live streaming showed that. And then the teachers union say, oh, well, we're not going to do live streaming because of COVID. Yeah, because the gig was up. And the parents started seeing that these teachers can't teach nothing. And the curriculum they are forced to teach or to dumb your kids down. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Online Real Estate School Incorporated takes live streaming to the next level. Now, of course, I'm sure this is not a good example because my background's not working and I wasn't feeling good, but the show goes on. We got it here, and you're still going to be learning what you need to know. So, Online Real Estate School got set up before the pandemic. We put this corporation together. We set this school up. We set everything up before the pandemic, about a year before the pandemic, and we were gung ho. We started this school with the premise of going live streaming. That was the whole premise. But we were having a problem back then because of Arillo, and the Real Estate Commission did not approve live streaming for the pre-licensing class. So in the state of Pennsylvania at that time, live streaming, even though it was in other states like Florida and Georgia and Texas, even though other states were doing it, Pennsylvania, again, always behind the curve, but they do catch up. But during the catch up process of the other states. So now, because of COVID, bam, we got a governor's waiver that said we can do the class live streaming. So what a blessing that was for me, because we were already prepped a year ahead of time. We were already designed and ready to go live streaming. We were just waiting for the law to change to allow us to go live streaming, which was a big gamble. But then COVID, the pandemic, and then the governor's waiver to allow us to go live stream. And since we were prepped and ready to go live streaming, we went gung ho, and we've been marketing and advertising live streaming ever since. And now I really love the live streaming. I think the state realizes now, because I got students in my class from Pittsburgh, from Harrisburg, from Scranton, from Warren, from Allegheny, from Philadelphia, all over. This is a state mandated class, ladies and gentlemen. And I never understood the purpose of just having a local real estate school, let's say Philadelphia. How is the student in Harrisburg? How's the student in Pittsburgh going to take this state class unless the school has location in every county of Pennsylvania, which is too expensive for any school to do? But the live streaming platform brings us right to your neighborhood, right to your backyard, right to the comfort of your own home to learn this class. And since we are designed probably better than any school, and I do mean this, ladies and gentlemen, better than any school in Pennsylvania for the live streaming platform, because we were a year ahead of every school. If schools are doing live streaming right now, it's because they were forced to do live streaming through the pandemic. Our school was already prepped, signed, designed, and ready to go live stream well before the pandemic. So we were way ahead of the curve, and we still are the best live streaming school in Pennsylvania right now, hands down. Read the reviews, ladies and gentlemen. See, we're also the least expensive. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, got to make the announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Online Real Estate School Incorporated would like to announce our last class of the year, which will be December 7th, 2021. December 7th, ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. This is the last class. It's also going to be the last class at $399. All right. We're hit with inflation just like everybody else. We're looking at a minimum of $499 starting next year, plus another $50 for the book, if we even incorporate the book, which we're probably not going to do. We're going to, because we're a live streaming class and we're focused on that, the ebook works so much better for our homework assignments, for understanding how to get in the real estate business, using the technology for the real estate business. So learning how to use the ebook, which is a very easy thing in the class, and learning the technology in the class, that's what we'll be teaching you, will go way far to help you in the real estate business, especially if you're like me, a baby boomer. or a Generation Xer, we might not be so computer handy as Generation Y and the millennial generation. And we'll talk about the different generations and how to represent them in the real estate business as well, because there's four generations that are currently alive that we're going to be working with: baby boomer generation, Generation X, Generation Y, and the millennial generation. And each generation has to be treated differently because they're different. Different time periods, different history, different technology, different ways of growing up. So you'll have to understand that each one is different. So our last class for the year, December 7th, 2021, we have a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we have an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this class will be for 6 weeks. In the state of Pennsylvania, you're required to take a 75-hour state mandated class. That's the class I've been talking about. This state mandated class is a required class that you have to take in order to take the state exam. So you need to take this 75-hour class. You have to. You can't take the state exam to become a licensed real estate professional without taking this class. This class is designed to teach you everything that you need to know in order to transfer property from one person to another. The legal process of what has to happen between a buyer and a seller, or you, if you're going to be buying or selling in the real estate transaction. You're going to have to know the very first thing that we have to do. The very first thing in any deal is the deed, title report. We'll talk about that real quick. What's the difference between a deed and a title? All right, you hear that all the time in the real estate business. The title, we need title, we need clear title. But that's not what transfers at the real estate table, known as the closing table or the settlement table. What transfers is the deed, not title. We sell vehicles by title, but we sell property by deed. The deed is the written instrument, but title is the process of making sure the deed is good. Title report, title search, title insurance, abstract of title. So the title is a process that we go through in the real estate business to make sure that the deed is good. The deed, the deed, the deed. The deed is what transfers. And what we need to know is the type of deed that comes with the property. Is it going to be a general warranty deed? That's good. That's great. Now we're good. Everything's insured, everything's covered. Will it be a special warranty deed? What's a special warranty deed? Well, these are for estate programs. Mom and dad passed away, but I, the son, am the executor of the estate. I can sell the property for them, but my name's not on the deed. So this will be known as a special warranty deed that will transfer. Then there's the bargain and sale deed. No title insurance. You didn't hear the word warranty. You had general warranty and special warranty. That means we had title insurance. But in a bargain and sale deed, which is what you'll get at auction properties, you're going to get a master and transfer deed, maybe a sheriff's sale deed, maybe a receipt, maybe a tax certificate. You're not getting a property at all. A lot of people don't understand what they're buying at tax auctions. They think they're buying real estate. You might end up with the real estate, but that's not what you're buying at the auction. So taking my class, you'll understand what you're buying at auction. There's a foreclosure auction, there's a tax auction, and there are many other auctions as well, ladies and gentlemen. Private auctions, martial auctions, and so forth. Government auctions, Treasury Department auctions. There are lots of auctions out there. Most people think that there's only two auctions: foreclosure auction and tax auction. Actually, many more. And we'll talk about them and what you are actually buying at these auctions. And this is why you'll get a bargain and sale deed that would have to be converted into a warranty deed. And then last one, ladies and gentlemen, the notorious quit claim deed. The quit claim deed. This is what you get when you just got suckered out of your money because you did not know the difference between one deed and another deed. And when you don't know this in the real estate business, and somebody says, "Oh, I got the deed to the property, it's right here," but it's a quit claim deed. That's not the deed to the property, but you didn't know that. You just got suckered out of your money because you heard all I need was the deed, but you didn't know anything about the deed. You got a quit claim deed. This deed does not transfer ownership. This deed transfers interest. All right. And we'll talk about that. You're going to be buying an REO from the bank. Well, guess what? The bank's name's not on the deed. And you're going to get all this addendum, all this legal mumbo jumbo that says you'll have to quiet the title. You'll have to understand the bank's name's not on the deed. What you're buying is the bank's interest in the property, not the property itself. So you don't understand these things. When you're getting into investment property, you're going to get suckered. You're going to lose a lot, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand that you have to crawl before you walk. You have to know your one, two, threes and your ABCs. And if you don't know your ABCs and your one, two, threes, then the whole deal is going to be completely illiterate for you. You're not going to understand what's going on. You're going to be out of your element. And you're going to be constantly learning by the mistakes that you're making as you go through the journey. I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to make these mistakes. You don't have to take that journey. Don't be suckered by your dreams and be taking advantage of your dreams. The first thing you need to know is your ABCs and your one, two, threes, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have your foundation, your platform. Once you have your platform, your foundation, then you can start investing in property. But until then, it's like jumping into a big ocean and then figuring out if you know how to swim or not. Now's not the time to learn how to swim or know if you know how to swim after you jumped in. It's not the time. So you want to know that you know how to swim underwater and above water before you jump into the water. This is what this class is all about, ladies and gentlemen, is a registered class with the state to make sure that you understand what you can legally do when you are representing others or when you are buying and selling real estate. So that's what this class is all designed for, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about a get rich quick scheme, and there's no upselling like a seminar. So you come to the free seminar and you buy this tape for $49. But if you really want to know the real deal, then there's this tape here for $2,000, but we'll discount it to $600 if you buy it within the next hour. Let's get some hands up. Anybody interested? We got tables in the back. We can get you signed up right now. That's a hustle, ladies and gentlemen. That's called a real estate seminar, and their job is to sell techniques, books, seminars, and other things, templates and everything, forms, contracts. That's the gig. That's the trick. That's the rub. They're trying to sell you all these things, and all these things might not even be state qualified. All right. This investor might be traveling the world. They're from Florida or they're from Texas. And they're teaching you what they've done in their state. But does that work here in Pennsylvania? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because each state has their own licensing requirement, their own law. So you can invest in property in Pennsylvania and invest in property in New Jersey and think it's going to be the same. It's not. It's going to be different contracts. It's going to be different transfer tax. It's going to be different filing, everything. The transfer tax. Now, see, Jersey's different, ladies and gentlemen. See, this is another thing that you want to talk about, and see that my hour's almost over. In Jersey, you can check in, but you can never check out. So welcome to New Jersey when you buy a house. But if you ever decide to leave New Jersey, you have to pay an exit tax to leave New Jersey. That's the same with the bridges. Same thing with the bridges. Welcome to New Jersey. You can go in free of charge, but you have to pay to leave Jersey. And that's the same thing with the property when you're investing in property. And if you're an out-of-state investor, well, then you got to understand what requirements that state, each state is different. So you have to understand these, ladies and gentlemen. If you really want to learn real estate, if you want the confidence of knowing that you know what you're doing, then my class, the class you want to sign up for. And I got one more class at $399, ladies and gentlemen. Look around. This is a live stream platform. So you get to see me, talk to me, ask me questions just as if you were sitting in the classroom. The reason that I do this free show is to introduce myself to you. I got 30 years of experience, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of Pennsylvania, a licensed real estate director, a licensed real estate instructor, and I can fill up both of these walls with all the acclimates and accomplishments that I've achieved over the last 30 years. To say that I'm qualified to teach you, else I teach contract. So I teach real estate agents the contracts, every word, so that they understand how to read the contract. So I'm more than qualified to bring you all the lessons you need to make sure that you become a licensed real estate professional in the state of Pennsylvania. And again, this is a live streaming class. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in Pennsylvania, or if you're in another state but you want to get your license here in Pennsylvania, then I suggest you take my live streaming class. All right. We have a morning class and the evening class. Again, Online Real Estate School Inc. Inc.com. Online Real Estate School Inc.com. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, check it out. There it is. I got it to pop up. I wonder what does this do anything? No, it just hides it. All right. All right. So see that, got something to work here. I'll figure these things out as we go along. My classes, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, the classes I got, but the live streaming show, I usually have a producer that does all this. So it looks great when my producer's here. But my producer said he would not be here, that he had another event to do today. So couldn't be here. So I'm trying to play around with a live streaming platform as we go along, just to bring the show to you, ladies and gentlemen. As I showed to you, as I said earlier, life doesn't work out the way we plan, but the show must go on. Life goes on. We got to have to get the day done one way or another. The day might not work out the way we planned, but it does come to fruition. And maybe it worked out better, maybe it didn't, but it always does kind of work out one way or another. So I hope that you can work it out where you can come to my class. I tried to make it easy for you, ladies and gentlemen. My class is $399. I'm already the least expensive live streaming school in the state of Pennsylvania at $399. But I do have bills to pay, food to put on the table, and I can't work for free. So I can't give the class away for free, nor would you learn anything if you didn't have anything invested. So you want to make sure that you're invested in yourself and invest in this class. But you'll see other schools, they'll take the real estate practice and fundamentals and break them up and make them look like two separate classes and hit you up for twice the fee for the same thing. And then you're never welcome back. This is your alma mater, ladies and gentlemen. Online Real Estate School Incorporated is your alma mater. When you take this school, you are always welcome to come back to this class free of charge anytime you want. That's my business model, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just say that you take my class and it's 4 weeks before you can take the state exam because life got in the way and you want to do a little refresher before you take the state exam. You're always welcome back to my class free of charge. You'll never have to pay for a class that you pay for ever again with my school, as long as my school's in business. Other schools would like to see my school out of business, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there's always competition. And because I'm coming in and I'm getting all these great reviews and I'm doing all these things and I'm putting in all this effort, well, that effort's showing. And now other schools are seeing that, this Johnny come lately is making a name for himself and he's taking away some traffic from us. And so that's not really making them happy, especially my one competitor, very unhappy that Online Real Estate School Incorporated has been so successful that the students have gone on. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what the podcast is all about. The podcast is all my students who've gone on to be successful real estate agents. I understand we've only been in business for 3 years. This is our third year going. January will be our fourth year. And already look what we've done in that 3-year period, ladies and gentlemen. We've probably made hundreds of agents out there right now that came through our school and they're very successful. I'd love to give you all the names of them. Go to my podcast and you'll see my students that went on. Justin Morrison, Paris Long, just to name a few that went on to become very, very successful real estate agents. And not just a couple, ladies and gentlemen. I got another 20 names right on the top of my head right now that I can blow off that are very successful real estate agents. Denise, Antonio, they were all my podcasts. These are all real estate agents, ladies and gentlemen. They were in my class. Now they're real estate agents because I teach you how to run a real estate business. They're all doing very, very good. And that can happen for you very soon, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is invest in yourself. One last thing before my hour is over, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you don't have the $399, you can get started with a $150 deposit. Now, this will probably be the end of the $150 deposit as well because of the times that we're going to be going into. So we're extending the $150 deposit right now to get started. You don't even need the $399. You need $150. That'll get you your ebook. That'll get you started. And then you can make your payments as we go along. But ladies and gentlemen, here's why it's probably going to be ending. Because not all of our students make their final payment. So we kind of get burned. I try my best, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what they say, no good deed goes unpunished in this business. So we tried to make the $150 available to get you to get into the class, to get in, at least you got the knowledge, but you still decided not to make the final payment and pay for the class. So we run into that. Now we understand it's probably financial. You just never could get the rest of the money, but it's financial for us as well. So chances are this will probably be our December class is the last class at $399. And it'll be the last class probably that will extend the $150 deposit because, again, It's a shame, but when you get burned, you get burned, and you have to learn from those lessons that we cannot extend it on. We can't afford for that to continue. So, take advantage of it, ladies and gentlemen. We have one class left, December 7th, 2021, online real estate school inc.com. Online real estate school inc.com. It's an incorporation. So you're going to incorporate as well. So you'll get used to using the incorporation or LLC at the end of your name. So it is online real estate school Inc. Incorporated, inc.com. Go to my website, ladies and gentlemen. See the live streaming classes under the courses. Sign up for the last course. Learn real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, that $399 is also going to get you the ability to pass the state exam, which means you're going to be a licensed real estate professional, a licensed professional in the state of Pennsylvania. That's what you're getting for $399. You're getting the education and you're getting the license. That license allows you to earn income legally in the state of Pennsylvania in the real estate industry. So everything you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be legal, you want to be knowledgeable, you want to make sure that you understand. Take my class, ladies and gentlemen. Read my reviews. I offer this free class every Monday. I gave you a little bit of information. I told you about the 4 deeds, the general warranty deed, the special warranty deed, the bargain and sale deed, the quitclaim deed. I told you there's a difference between a deed and a title. And I told you that you want to start investing in property, but I told you that you want to start investing in property by investing in yourself first. Invest in your knowledge, the right knowledge, not a seminar that wants to sell you more and more knowledge that you'll never be able to use anyway, but the state knowledge by federal, state, local law. What you have to do in order to have that license is the knowledge that you want, the knowledge that you need in order to make informed decisions. So my class, and again, I taught you to check the Bureau of Professional Occupational Affairs website, to check out the school that you want to attend, to see if that school has any violations and make sure that school is registered and legal. So do all your due diligence. You've learned that in 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen. Wait till you see what you learn in 75 hours of my class. So this is Online Real Estate School Incorporated. This is the free live streaming class that the school offers every Monday at 6 p.m. You'll find it on your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your TikTok, and so forth. Any social media at 6 p.m. We're usually live, and you can find us by going to our site or friend us, and then we will be able to come directly to you. We'll talk about that in the class. We certainly want to be networking together. This is how Amazon became so rich and famous, by sharing website banners back in the day, banner sharing back in the day. Look what we can do today. So lots of money. The goal is $1,000 a day, ladies and gentlemen. That is the goal. You should never be doing less than $1,000 a day, $30,000 a month. Come to my class and start understanding the fundamentals that you need to make $1,000 a day legally and ethically. Ladies and gentlemen, Online Real Estate School. This is the quickest hour and 3 minutes over because my producer's not here, so I can say that I kind of went over my time a little bit. Online Real Estate School Incorporated. Get yourself a real estate license. Change your lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. This show is brought to you every Monday by Online Real Estate School. It's called the free live streaming real estate class. I look forward to seeing everybody next Monday. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. And I look forward to making you a licensed real estate professional for the rest of this year. Ciao. Now I got to figure out how to shut it off. All right. So, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to seeing you in my class. And I look forward to making you a licensed real estate professional.